Welcome to The Rite of Passage with Vanessa Riley, the podcast where storytelling meets passion and every page turns into a new adventure. I'm your host, Vanessa Riley, and together we'll dive deep into untold histories, reflect on current events through a historical lens, share behind-the-scenes writing insights, and explore the ups and downs of the author's journey. From rich historical novels to unforgettable characters to pop culture's intrusion on the written word, hey, we're going to explore it all. So grab your pen, your notebook, and let's begin our journey through the written word. Let's start your rite of passage. Write, wait, win. 10 ways to thrive while the world is on pause. It's universally known that everyone who has a career or a talent that intersects with the public must learn to deal with waiting. Everyone waits, whether a king or a servant or a politician or a bank teller. Time slows down while you wait to receive or give something. Even though the physical globe continues to rotate about the sun, our present circle will seem stopped or stuck. It's an uneasy feeling that grows and can become unbearable the longer the wait time. Creatives, especially writers, know at some point in their career they will have to wait. Let's dive into this world. Early on, it's waiting for the right idea. Then it's waiting for time to write. After that, we wait on edits or feedback from workshops, peers, or critique groups. If you're pursuing a traditional path, we wait for the magic call or Zoom with an agent announcing they love our voice and wish to sign us. Then there's the ultimate wait. As a traditional author, or hoping to be, or aspiring to be a traditional author, one anguishes for a positive response from an editor at a publishing house. We want that yes. We crave that affirmation that we've written something that matters. For indie authors, the struggle may look different, but waiting is still inevitable. You might be waiting on cover designers, layout artists, or formatters to deliver essential elements for book production. But no matter how we publish, all authors wait for early reviews and to see how fans and new readers react. I'm reminded of a keynote I once heard Walter Mosley give. He was joking about his close friend Gregory Hines, about how his world would change now that he had received his long-awaited yes. His risks were finally paying off, both literally and figuratively. But Hines, in his wisdom, simply told him, "Don't worry, you'll be broke again." Mosley acknowledged that Hines was right and drew a big laugh from the National Book Club conference, admitting that he was again and again broke. As authors, we will always be in the waiting game until we stop writing. We will be waiting on contracts, ad placements, book launches, or even the next words to come. But waiting doesn't mean sitting around worrying while we stave off dread. Waiting should be active. Waiting involves an expectation that things will work together for our good. Romans 8:28. We must prepare for the next steps. James 5:7. I want to act as if the answer is yes. I work in the present to be ready for the blessings. I never expect the worst. I try to be joyful until I have a reason to cry. And let's be real. Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes it's a kick in the gut, the realization that this good thing was not for you. It's okay to grieve. We are human. We can be sad. Yet when we feel like we've blown it, we must remember that we are seen. We are not forgotten. I love how the psalmist put it in Psalms 41. I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction out of the miry bog and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise. So rejoice in the good, weep in the sadness, and know we're not alone. The Waiting Winner's Timeline. Fortunately or unfortunately, I have a list of some of the great waits that eventually paid off. History is full of people who had to wait long periods for their dreams and recognition to come true. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the godmother of rock and roll, influenced Chuck Berry and Elvis Presley, but wasn't fully acknowledged until her induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. Cicely Tyson. Though she acted for decades and delivered groundbreaking performances in Sounder, 1972, and the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, 1974, she never received her full due until 2018, when 46 years later, Cicely was presented with an honorary Oscar for her lifetime achievements. She was in her 90s. Zora Neale Hurston. As I mentioned in earlier episodes, Ride or Die or Get Out of the Way and Grab Some Gumbo, Your Best Girl and Go, Zora's work during the Harlem Renaissance was intentionally buried by gatekeepers. She died in poverty and obscurity, and her work had to be rediscovered a full decade after her death. I will say this 1,000 times. This is not the way. Death and poverty should never be requirements for a writer's success. Octavia Butler. Octavia's first published work was a short story called Crossover in 1971. Her first novel, published by Doubleday in 1976, was just the beginning. The visionary science fiction writer who won the Hugo in 1984 and Nebula Awards in 1985 struggled for mainstream success until she published Parable of a Sower in 1993 and won the MacArthur Fellowship in 1995. That's more than 22 years of waiting. But the world is forever grateful for Octavia's perseverance. Walter Mosley. Walter Mosley started writing in the 80s, and his first novel, Devil in a Blue Dress, was published by W.W. Norton on June 19, 1990. He faced several years of difficulty in getting published because publishers didn't think there was an audience for Black detective fiction. Once it sold, it became a classic, even being adapted into a movie starring Denzel Washington. One could say it all paid off, perhaps. But I'm sure that the waiting wasn't easy or sweet. I'm thankful that each persevered with their gifts and changed the world. How to wait productively. Since waiting is inevitable, I made a list of practical ways to stay productive and engaged. Number 1, don't obsess, rest. Avoid refreshing your inbox constantly. Do some chores, volunteer. Don't obsess on reels or social media, but find ways to bless someone else. Read widely. Explore new releases, classics, nonfiction, and poetry to inspire new ideas. This is something I do regularly. It's one of the reasons I confidently write in 3 genres: historical fiction, romance, and mystery. My voice adapts. I give readers of these genres what they want, what they expect, because I learn from all good stories. Sister Mother Warrior, about the two women who shaped the Haitian Revolution, is my most literary work. But it's also the most muscular novel I've published. Its heft comes from a lot of nonfiction, including books on war and diaspora poetry. 3. Take a class. Studying writing guides or attending workshops. Some great books to consider. Elements of Fiction by Walter Mosley explores storytelling fundamentals such as character development, plot, and voice. How Do We Do It? Black Writers on Craft, Practice and Skill, edited by Jericho Brown. It features Nikki Giovanni, David Oramotoso, Black, Natasha Trethway, Barry Jenkins, Jacqueline Woodson, Terari Jones, Angela Flournoy, and more. On Writing by Stephen King, well, that's a personal favorite. Number 4, build your author platform. Update your website, refresh your bio, and check your events list. I know some of those dates have passed. 5, network with other writers. Attend writing groups, conferences, and in-person events. Number 6, touch grass, literally. Get outside, take a walk, observe nature. Breathe fresh air. Number 7, in a writing contest. Consider submitting to Writers of the Future contest, the Bridgeport Prize, that's a UK contest, the Blacklist Unpublished Novels Award, and Readsy.com has a list of competitions for poetry and prose. Writers realize that all competitions are not created equally. Some have implicit bias. Do your homework before submitting. I don't want your work stolen or misrepresented or fumbled by hands that should never have touched your creation in the first place. Number 8, stay informed on industry trends. Keep up with publishing news, avoid scams, and research new agents and publishers and marketplaces. Number 9, plan your marketing strategy. Work on your launch plan and outreach to bloggers and media so you're ready when you get your yes. 10, replenish creativity. Step away when needed, travel, pick up a hobby, or simply rest. 11 is a bonus. Start a new project. If you're querying, don't immediately start book 2 in your series. Instead, write something fresh that could be your breakthrough project. Embrace the wait. Waiting is hard, but it doesn't have to be unproductive or soul-crushing. It's part of our process. It's formative to our seasons of growth. We have to be prepared, or we will not harvest and allow our fruit to rot. Remember, everything worthwhile takes time. Every success story has had its pauses. The key to getting through to the light is to fill the waiting with purpose. Whether you are a seasoned pro or just getting into the business, trust that waiting always comes before your journey unfolds. So keep writing, keep learning, keep going. And when the long-awaited yes finally comes, enjoy it. Bask in the joy. And remember how it feels because, as Brother Mosley indicated, you will go through it again and again. The list of books mentioned in this podcast are in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you'll come again. This is Vanessa Riley.